Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into a topic that I think we can all relate to. Purpose. What is it? How do we find it? And is it really more valuable than $1 million bonus? You shared a webinar transcript with us that promises to shed some light on these very questions. Now I have to say, I'm already intrigued.
This webinar is fascinating. It doesn't just lay out a set of rules, it blends personal stories and practical advice. And this infectious passion for helping people reach their full potential, it really speaks to that universal human desire to find meaning and make a difference.
You're right. And one of the things that immediately caught my attention was the way the speaker reframes the idea of purpose. It's not some static endpoint you reach,
Yeah.
but rather a dynamic force, something that grows and evolves with us.
Absolutely. And that really changes the whole game, doesn't it? It's less about discovering a preordained purpose and more about nurturing it, continually developing our skills, and finding ways to contribute to the world in a way that feels authentic to us.
It's like a journey of becoming rather than a destination. And speaking of journeys, the webinar kicks off with a distinction between a job, a career, and a calling. You mentioned this earlier. Can you elaborate on why that's so crucial for understanding purpose?
It's all about recognizing the different levels of engagement we can have with our work. A job, as the speaker describes it, is purely transactional. You exchange your time and effort for a paycheck. It keeps the lights on, but it may not offer much in terms of personal fulfillment.
We've all been there, right?
Well,
But then a career, that implies a deeper level of investment.
exactly. A career requires more specialized training and often offers a greater sense of satisfaction. There's a path for advancement, maybe even a bit of prestige. But even then, it might not align perfectly with your passions and values. It might not feel like you're truly making a difference.
And that brings us to the calling, which the speaker describes almost as this magnetic pull toward a particular path. What makes a calling so distinct? Is it just about passion, or is there something more to it?
It's definitely about passion, but it goes deeper than that. A calling taps into your inherent talents, your unique gifts, the things you've been drawn to since childhood. It's that sweet spot where your natural abilities intersect with a real-world need. And it creates a sense of profound fulfillment that goes way beyond just earning a paycheck.
Okay. I love this idea of tapping into your childhood self to uncover your calling. It reminds me of that saying, find what you loved to do as a child and get paid for it. But how do we actually do that? The webinar delves into this idea of exploring your inner landscape. What are some of the key takeaways there?
It starts with reflection. The speaker asks some powerful questions that can really jumpstart this process of self-discovery. What were your childhood dreams? What did you love to do before the world told you what you should be doing? What defining experiences have shaped your worldview or revealed hidden passions?
I think we often dismiss those childhood dreams as frivolous or unrealistic. But what if they hold clues to our true calling? Like we need to give ourselves permission to reconnect with that inner child who was so full of wonder and possibility.
Exactly. And the speaker walks the talk. She shares this captivating story about how she stumbled into a job at a dating service. She was good at it, but she had this werewolf moment, as she calls it, where she realized this wasn't her true calling. Even though it seemed like a good fit on the surface, it wasn't feeding her soul.
That's so relatable. Sometimes we find ourselves on a path that looks good on paper, but feels all wrong inside. So, if we're not supposed to just follow the traditional career path, how do we actually find that sweet spot you mentioned?
The speaker introduces a few powerful tools. And one that really stood out to me was the rocking chair theory. Have you ever tried this?
I haven't, but I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's a thought experiment where you picture yourself in a rocking chair at 80 or 90 years old, reflecting back on your life. What are your biggest regrets? What are you most proud of? What moments brought you the deepest joy and satisfaction? It forces you to confront what truly matters to you, beyond societal pressures or expectations.
Wow, that's powerful. I could already feel myself cringing at the thought of some potential regrets. It really makes you think about how you want to spend your precious time on this earth.
Exactly. And this is where the rubber meets the road. It's not just about passively listening to the webinar, it's about actively engaging with these questions, applying them to your own life, and starting to make choices that align with your deepest values.
It's about taking ownership of your life's narrative.
Right.
Instead of letting life just happen to you, you're consciously creating the story you want to tell.
Precisely. And another tool the speaker introduces for bringing that story to life is mind mapping. It's a way to visually brainstorm your thoughts, dreams, and goals, creating a roadmap for your purpose journey. She even shares how she used mind mapping while writing her book, $1 Million Personality, which was actually inspired by another classic in the personal development world, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
So it's not just about passively consuming information. It's about actively applying these tools and techniques to unlock your own potential. She found inspiration from Napoleon Hill, who was writing decades earlier. It really shows that these core principles of success and purpose are timeless.
Absolutely. And what I love about mind mapping is that it allows you to see connections you might have missed otherwise. You start with a central idea, like my purpose, and then branch out, exploring different facets of your life, your passions, your skills, and the problems you're drawn to solve.
It's like creating a visual representation of your inner world,
Ah.
almost like a blueprint for your purpose. It's fascinating how she connects this to her own journey as an author, using mind mapping to organize her thoughts and bring her book to life.
And it's not just for big, life-altering projects. She encourages using mind maps for everything from planning a vacation to brainstorming business ideas. It's a versatile tool for clarifying your thoughts, exploring possibilities, and making decisions with more intention.
So we've talked about tapping into our inner landscape, using the rocking chair theory, and harnessing the power of mind mapping. Are there any other tools or techniques from the webinar that you think are particularly helpful in this journey of purpose discovery?
The webinar also talks about vision boards, a powerful tool for manifesting your dreams and goals. Have you ever created a vision board?
I've dabbled with the idea, but I'll admit, I've always been a bit skeptical. Is it really as simple as pasting some pictures on a board and watching your dreams come true?
It's not magic, but there's definitely something to be said for the power of visualization. The speaker shares a pretty amazing story about how her own vision board helped her achieve a lifelong dream, becoming a flight attendant at the age of 46.
Wow. Okay, now that's inspiring. She actually manifested her dream career using a vision board. Tell me more about that.
It's a great example of how putting your intentions out there, even in a symbolic way, can shift your mindset and create new possibilities. She talks about how she'd always been fascinated by airplanes and travel, and she'd even included a picture of herself in a flight attendant uniform on her vision board years earlier.
I can see how having that visual reminder, seeing yourself already living that dream, could really reinforce your commitment and keep you motivated, even when things get tough.
Exactly. And it's not just about attracting what you want, it's also about clarifying your desires and making them more concrete. By taking the time to create a vision board, you're essentially creating a visual roadmap for your future.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. So
Yeah.
we got the rocking chair theory, mind mapping, vision boards. These are all great tools for self-discovery and goal setting. But the webinar also includes some really touching stories that illustrate the power of purpose in action.
Yes. The story of Ida, a nursing home resident with dementia, is particularly powerful. It really highlights how purpose can transcend even significant challenges.
You mentioned earlier that Ida had rediscovered her passion for art. Tell me more about that.
Ida would often say, "I used to be an artist," but her memory was fragmented, and she couldn't quite recall the details, so the speaker, recognizing a flicker of passion, brought Ida some art supplies. One day, Ida created this incredibly detailed drawing of a polar bear. It was as if her artistic talent, dormant for so long, had suddenly reawakened.
That gives me chills. It makes you wonder what hidden talents or passions we all have within us, just waiting to be rediscovered. But Ida's story is even more profound when you consider her condition. It suggests that purpose isn't just about achieving great things, but about finding meaning and joy, even in the face of adversity.
Absolutely. Ida's story beautifully illustrates how purpose can be a source of resilience and joy, regardless of age or circumstance. It reminds us that our passions can sustain us, even when life throws unexpected curveballs.
It's such a powerful message, especially in a society that often equates purpose with productivity and achievement. Ida's story reminds us that purpose can be expressed in simple, everyday moments of creativity and connection.
Speaking of connection, the webinar also emphasizes the importance of community and collaboration in pursuing your purpose. The speaker talks about the power of networking, but not in the traditional sense of climbing the corporate ladder. It's about finding your tribe, surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who support your growth and inspire you to reach your full potential.
It's about building genuine relationships, not just collecting business cards.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Right.
Having a supportive network can make all the difference when you're navigating the ups and downs of the purpose journey.
Exactly. And the speaker offers some great practical advice on how to build those meaningful connections. She suggests engaging in online communities, attending industry events, and always being open to learning from others.
She also emphasizes the importance of offering value to others. It's not just about what you can get, but about how you can contribute and make a positive impact.
And this leads to another key theme in the webinar, the importance of continuous learning. She argues that we should never stop exploring new skills and expanding our knowledge, especially as we pursue our purpose.
It's about embracing a growth mindset,
Right.
recognizing that purpose isn't a fixed destination, but an ongoing journey of learning and evolution.
Precisely. And she shares some interesting insights from her experience as a recruiter. She noticed a distinct difference in job satisfaction between people working in corporate environments versus those in fields like the airline industry. Those in fields where passion is often a driving force seem to be much happier in their work.
That makes a lot of sense. When your work aligns with your passions and values, it's no longer just a job. It's an expression of who you are.
Exactly. And that intrinsic motivation can be incredibly powerful. It fuels your creativity, boosts your resilience, and ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Okay, so we've explored the inner landscape, learned about practical tools for purpose discovery, heard inspiring stories like Ida's, and even touched on the importance of community and lifelong learning. Where does the webinar go from there?
This is where things get really interesting. The speaker introduces this concept of creating $1 million impact, and it's not just about money.
I was wondering about that. Tell me more.
She challenges us to shift our focus from solely pursuing financial gain to considering the broader impact we want to make in the world. She uses this captivating story about Charles Schwab, who worked for Andrew Carnegie in the steel industry. Schwab was already earning a substantial salary, but Carnegie awarded him $1 million bonuses, not just for his technical skills, but for his ability to inspire and motivate others, to create a positive work environment, and to cultivate a culture of excellence.
So it's about recognizing that true wealth goes beyond just money. It's about the positive ripple effect you create in the world, the legacy you leave behind, and the contributions you make to something larger than yourself.
Exactly. And she challenges us to think about how we can plant seeds that will continue to grow and benefit others long after we're gone.
It's a beautiful vision, and it really ties back to that initial idea of purpose as something dynamic and evolving. It's not just about what you achieve in your lifetime. It's about the impact you have on the world and the lives you touch.
And this brings us to another powerful concept from the webinar, the idea that our daily routines determine our destiny. She emphasizes the importance of aligning our daily habits and practices with our purpose.
So it's not just about having grand visions and long-term goals. It's about making conscious choices every single day that move us closer to our aspirations.
She even uses the phrase, be a wiener. It's about gradually shifting your focus and your energy toward your purpose, making small but consistent steps each day. It might mean exploring a side hustle, volunteering in an area you're passionate about, or even just dedicating 30 minutes each day to learning a new skill.
I love that phrase, be a wiener. It's such a practical and empowering approach. You don't have to quit your job and jump into the unknown all at once. You can gradually transition, testing the waters, and building momentum over time.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that this is a journey, not a race. There will be setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. But the key is to persevere, to keep learning, and to never lose sight of the vision you're creating.
It's about trusting the process and embracing the journey, knowing that the rewards of living a purpose-driven life are well worth the effort.
And speaking of embracing the journey, the webinar also touches on the importance of mindset and self-care. The speaker emphasizes the power of our thoughts and how crucial it is to cultivate a positive inner dialogue.
It's about being mindful of the information we consume, limiting exposure to negativity, and consciously choosing to focus on thoughts and beliefs that empower us and support our growth.
Exactly. It's about creating a mental environment that nurtures our purpose and fuels our passion.
And finally, the speaker introduces us to the Japanese concept of ikigai. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Ikigai, often translated as reason for being, is a beautiful concept that encapsulates so much of what we've been talking about. It's about finding that sweet spot where your passion, mission, vocation, and profession all intersect.
So it's not just about finding work that you love or that you're good at. It's about finding that unique intersection where your talents and passions align with the needs of the world and can even provide you with a livelihood.
The speaker breaks it down into 4 key questions that can help guide us on this journey of discovering our ikigai. What do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? And how can you get paid for it?
Those are powerful questions. And by exploring these questions, We can start to uncover that unique place where our personal fulfillment and our contribution to the world converge.
And she shares her own personal experience with Ikigai, how she discovered her passion for helping others uncover their purpose and eventually found a way to build a career around it. It's a beautiful example of how purpose can evolve and expand over time.
It's inspiring to see how she's woven her own journey of purpose discovery into her work, creating a ripple effect that's now inspiring countless others to find their own unique path.
Exactly. And the webinar concludes with a powerful call to action, urging listeners to embrace their individuality, to never be afraid to be themselves, and to step into their purpose with confidence and courage.
She reminds us that we all have unique gifts to share with the world, and that it's never too late to start living a more purposeful and fulfilling life.
And she encourages us to experiment, to try new things, to volunteer, to start a side hustle, to do whatever it takes to discover what truly lights us up.
It's about taking action, right?
Yeah.
Not just talking about purpose, but actually putting it into practice,
Mm.
even if it's just one small step at a time. Well, that was an incredible deep dive into the world of purpose. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling incredibly inspired to take action.
Me too. It's a great reminder that we all have unique gifts to share with the world, and it's never too late to start uncovering and pursuing our true calling.
And remember, purpose isn't just a destination, it's an ongoing adventure. So, keep exploring, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep sharing your unique brilliance with the world.
Well said.
And for those of you who want to delve deeper, we'll include some resources inspired by the webinar in the show notes. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you most from this deep dive? What steps are you inspired to take toward discovering or pursuing your purpose? Share your thoughts on our website or social media. We can't wait to hear your stories.